Good morning, everybody. I hope you are enjoying a wonderful week at St Mary's this week. And you can see from the title here that my assembly is all about the International Day of Peace, which this year, as is every year, was on the 21st of September, which is Tuesday. And there's a little picture at the bottom here that might ignite your thinking about peace. And I wonder if any of you can remember my assembly last year about this special day. I remember that the children in year 2 made some peace doves afterwards and wrote lovely peace promises on, and they hung them outside the veranda by what was Miss Wood's classroom. So maybe some of you can remember doing that on last year's International Day of Peace. So I want you to start assembly this morning by thinking for yourself, what actually is peace? So have a moment to think, and then maybe press pause and gather your ideas as a class. So what do you think peace actually is? So if you look in the dictionary, it says that peace has actually got 2 meanings. So the first one is freedom from disturbance or tranquility. So that's when you feel really calm, everything is quiet, it's tranquil, you feel contentment. And the second definition is that peace is a state or a time in which there is no war or a war has ended. So if you are a country that is living in peacetime, that means that there isn't actually a war happening in your country. So those are the 2 different definitions of peace. And I wonder if some of the things you thought about linked to those 2 answers. Now I want you to stop for a minute and think about when you feel at peace. So when are there times in the day, or maybe times in the week, or maybe special times in your life that you can remember when you have felt particularly at peace? Maybe talk to the person next to you about that for a moment. So every year, the International Day of Peace actually has a theme. Last year's theme was Shaping Peace Together. And this year's theme, as you can see here, says Recovering Better for a Sustainable and Equitable World. There's some quite big words in that. So we've got the word recovering, we've got the word sustainable, and we've got the word equitable. I wonder if some of you might know what those words mean, or if actually you can link those words to something else to help you. So obviously we're doing lots of recovering at the moment, and you might hear teachers talk about recovery, you might hear it on the news, you might hear your parents talking about it, because as a global community, we are recovering from the COVID pandemic. And it's a pandemic that hasn't ended yet. We're not at the end of the tunnel, but we're starting to think about how we can recover from what has happened so far. So in this year's International Day of Peace, we are inspired, the UN says, to think creatively and collectively about how to help everyone to recover better, how to build resilience, so how to build strength in your mind and in your bodies and in our systems and processes all across the world, and how to transform our world into one that is more equal, more just, more equitable, inclusive, sustainable, and healthier. Now, there are lots of words there, and they're not very easy things to do. We can't do any of those things overnight, but it's about how we can start to build our world, our global community back in a way that's more equal, so that everybody has those same opportunities, or that adjustments are made so that everyone can have the opportunities. More just, so that means about being fair. So having a sense of fairness in our world, in how we act, in what we do, in what we can do. Being equitable, being inclusive, so thinking about everybody. And inclusivity is about all types of things. So what race you are, what gender you are, how much money you have, where you live, all of those things. About being sustainable. That means that we can actually keep doing something rather than just doing it once, that we can sustain it. And about being healthier. And obviously the pandemic has brought up lots of things about what we can do to be healthier, to helping our bodies when we're not well and whilst we're recovering. So thinking about equity and the COVID pandemic. So equity is about realizing that everyone has different starting points. Everyone is not equal in the same. And so it's about thinking what we can do to put adjustments in place so that everyone has the right to move forward with what they want to move forward with. Now, there's an issue with equity in the pandemic, because actually by April 2021, although over 687 million vaccines had been given all over the world, the actual sad thing is that there are still over 100 countries that by that point hadn't received a single dose of the vaccine. Now that's when equity comes in. We in our country are able to access the vaccine really easily, but in other countries, there are still people who haven't had their first dose. And that's where things are not equal. Now, people, especially if they're caught in conflict, if they're living in a country that is in war, then they are especially vulnerable at accessing healthcare. And we know just how important our doctors and nurses and ambulance crew have worked in the past 18 months. But if you're living in a country that's in conflict, that doesn't have peace, it's really difficult to access the healthcare that you need. So we need to start thinking about how we can spread peace together. And unfortunately, the pandemic has caused a rise in some discrimination, in some stigma, in some hatred, which actually is a real negative thing. It's actually costing people lives instead of saving them. But the reality is that COVID doesn't know who anyone is. It doesn't know how much money people have. It attacks everybody without caring about who we are or where we're from or what we believe in. So it really hits home to us that actually as human beings, in that sense, we are all the same. And so we should be able to spread peace together to ensure that our entire global community can be valued and actually have the rights to those things that they need to be equal, to be inclusive, to be just, to be fair. So we need to be reminded, and I think during the pandemic, there has been lots of people coming together to remember that we're not each other's enemy. We should value our differences that we have rather than spreading the things that make us apart. But to be able to recover from our devastation, we've got to make peace with one another. And that peace is so important. We also need to make sure that we make peace with nature. And that's something that is one of the themes that goes along with this year's International Peace Day. Because we had the travel restrictions, we had things, planes weren't flying, trains weren't going, people weren't driving everywhere. And we did see the effect, the positive effect of lockdown on nature. And so we have to keep that in our minds and realise that actually climate change is not on pause. And small things that we do make a huge difference. So what we need to focus on is making a green and sustainable global economy that produces jobs, that reduces emissions, all the toxic gases that go into our atmosphere, and that builds resilience to climate impacts. Because look at this picture here. What we want to move away from is that grey picture that actually isn't filling anyone with very much hope. And where is the nature in that picture? We want to go to the other side where we have a green and plentiful and clean environment, because that benefits us as humans in so many ways, as well as all of the millions of animals that live on our planet. So I want you to take some time now just to think about everything from this morning. I'm doing really quick assemblies, which is good. It's really focusing me to the key points, but it's good to take that time to stop and to think about how we can put all of this together and how we should be thankful for what we do have compared to so many others who don't have those opportunities. So hands together, take some time to either read it along with me as a class if you want, or just to listen and have a moment to say thank you and to think and to help God guide you through the rest of this day. Almighty God, we thank you for the lives that we are able to live in peace, not war. We ask you to give us all around peace in our mind, our body, soul, and spirit. We ask you to help heal and remove everything that causes worry, grief, and sorrow in our lives. Please guide our path through life and let your peace reign in our family, in our school, and everything we lay our hands on. Amen. Right, today's hymn is all about peace, so I hope you enjoy this one.
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace, love, joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain in my soul.
I hope you really enjoyed that song, our special hymn today, thinking about peace, love and joy. How can we spread that within our school community? How can we spread peace, love and joy in our homes? How can we spread peace, love and joy in any clubs that we do? When we go to our friend's house, how can we spread peace, love and joy when we're in the supermarket? Because it's about doing it absolutely everywhere. So my thought to take with you this week is for us to celebrate peace by standing up against acts of hate online and offline, and by spreading compassion, kindness and hope in the face of the pandemic and as we continue to recover. Remember what I've said many, many times to you. It's about being an upstander, not a bystander. And there is so much that happens online, on text, when people are on Xboxes and PS4s talking to other people. All those times you need to be spreading peace, love and joy. And if someone is spreading something that is not peace, love and joy, then you need to make a decision. Are you going to stand up and actually be the person that says, this isn't kind, let's stop? Because that is how we actually spread peace. That's what we need to do. Spread compassion, spread kindness and spread hope. And you may be thinking, hang on, Mrs. Lewis, how on earth do we spread peace in Aldi? Well, peace begins with a smile, which is what Mother Teresa said. So every single time you walk down the corridor, you get in and out of a car, anywhere you see anybody, peace begins with a smile. And that is something that I would like each and every one of you to take forth into the rest of your day, into the rest of your week, and into the rest of your time that you are existing. Because peace begins with a smile. So spread some peace today. I wish you the most wonderful end to your week. Have a lovely weekend and I will see you soon.